Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is February 21st of 2025. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears that CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland is going to stage a so-called October surprise in Germany, Europe, the United States, or elsewhere in the next 48 hours leading up to the 2025 German federal election in Germany on February 23rd of 2025. So for those of you unaware of the situation in Germany, the SPD, which is Angela Merkel's party, is currently slated to lose for the first time in 30 years. And the Christian Democratic Union Party, the CDU, is slated to win, with the AFD, the Alternative for Germany, likely taking second place. And for those of you unaware of the politics of Germany, it's directly beneath, or above, I should say, Switzerland. And it's basically the German Shepherd. Switzerland is the German Shepherd, if you will, the hand which moves Germany. And this is evident in the rise of Adolf Hitler, who met with a German Swiss general prior to his coups in Munich and Berlin. And so the CIA is basically going to stage a coup via an October surprise surrounding this election, specifically to prevent Germany from electing Friedrich Merz as the next Chancellor of Germany. He's from the CDU. He will, as it currently stands, he will beat Olaf Scholz. And this is basically Germany making what the same political choices as in America with the election of Donald J. Trump, is basically returning to common sense and abandoning the left-wing woke policies of the left. So there's plenty of motive for Switzerland to stage these attacks to influence these elections. So obviously, what type of October surprise is expected is obviously not known, but in the last few weeks, I've published numerous reports for both Islamic terror attacks in Germany, as well as neo-Nazi related attacks in Germany, and political assassinations targeting one Angela Merkel. And just prior to the Munich Security Conference on February 14th through 16th in Munich, Germany, they staged a vehicular ramming attack, which was subsequently blamed on an Afghan national. So the CIA is desperately trying to stage a false flag October surprise, and so I'm going to highlight briefly what is to be expected. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this might happen in Germany, Europe, United States, or elsewhere, but it's going to happen in the next 48 hours or so before the conclusion of this election. So the most likely scenarios are as follows. Political assassinations, most likely targeting Donald J. Trump, most likely on February 21st, surrounding his appearance at the CPAC, that's Conservative Political Action Conference in Washington, D.C. This may be a Palestinian gunman after his comments about Gaza, or it may be a transsexual-related assassination event, but an assassination event is indeed planned, and this would obviously have a chilling effect on the elections in Germany. Olaf Scholz, current SPD leader, Friedrich Merz, Robert Habeck, Green Party in Germany, Vladimir V. Putin, Ali Khamenei, Benjamin Netanyahu, King Charles of England, Pope Francis, Elon Musk, Robert F. Kennedy, and the Dalai Lama are basically the top 10. That being said, DEFCON level events are expected. This may include, but is not limited to, 9/11 style CBRN laden airplane and or helicopter related attacks, 9/11 style drone attacks, anti-Semitic attacks. It's highly likely that the CIA is going to stage anti-Semitic attacks, anti-Israeli, anti-Jewish, anti-Hebrew, what have you, in Germany or elsewhere, specifically to sway this election. Chemical-related attacks, cyber attacks, possibly targeting the internet, the power grid, nuclear reactors, mass transit, dirty bomb attacks, electromagnetic attacks, specifically designed to induce blackouts, mass shootings, likely targeting soft targets, neo-Nazi attacks, as mentioned, nuclear missile strikes. This is hypersonic or ICBM, targeting or from China, Iran, North Korea, Pakistan, or Russia, most likely targeting the United States, Europe, and Japan or South Korea. Nuclear reactor attacks, which may be cyber or real world. Given the recent amount of plane crashes that the CIA has staged, a secondary or another plane crash is expected, most likely targeting celebrities or sports teams. Race war attacks, most likely in the United States or Germany. Radiological events. CIA-backed storming attacks. This would be, again, blamed on Russia, Iran, North Korea, Pakistan, or Russia, most likely targeting capital cities. Suicide bombing attacks blamed on Islamic terror groups. Tactical nuclear bomber strikes by China and or Russia. Vehicle-borne improvised explosive device attacks, VBIED, this is car bombings, truck bombings, or weaponized contagion-related attacks or outbreaks such as anthrax, Ebola, ricin, or smallpox. It's also highly likely that if the CIA stages attacks in Germany, Europe, or the United States or elsewhere, they're going to be civilian targets. This is what the CIA always does. Of course, if a terrorist group really wanted to attack a country, they would attack their military. But because it's an attack on humanity, they always target civilian targets, and these would include, but are not limited to, abortion clinics and hospitals, airplanes or airports, capital cities, cruise ships or cruise ports, cinemas and or theaters, discos and or nightclubs, live sporting events, skyscrapers, trains or train stations, subways and or subway stations. The CIA could also target government-related entities, as mentioned, which would be biolabs, dams, capitol buildings, consulate generals and or embassies, hospitals and or clinics, nuclear reactors, schools and or universities, or military targets such as NATO air bases, NATO military bases, Navy ships, or nuclear missile silos. In the event that the CIA does in fact forego a false flag terror attack, they're likely to stage a false flag attack or invasion by a foreign nation, which would likely feature a Chinese attack or invasion of Taiwan, an Iranian attack or invasion of Israel, a North Korean attack or invasion of South Korea, a Pakistani attack and or invasion of India and or Kashmir, and or a Russian attack or invasion of Germany, Poland, and or Ukraine. There's also the possibility that the CIA would stage some sort of so-called natural disaster. These are basically man-made events that are use technology that we're unaware of. Most of them are executed via NATO satellites, which have direct energy weapons, or DEW, which can cause all sorts of mayhem. That being said, an asteroid, comet, or meteor strike is expected. This may be courtesy of SpaceX Starship, currently in lower Earth orbit, or the Boeing. It's also called Star something, I forget. My apologies. They may also stage biological outbreaks, man-made earthquake attacks, man-made mass flooding attacks, the release of a novel airborne virus, tornado attacks, tsunami attacks, or volcanic eruption attacks. Last but not least, the CIA has a fetish for executing blood sacrifices, often targeting celebrities, politicians, and athletes, professional athletes, So the most likely scenario would be if they have to forego a terror attack or a foreign attack or an attack or invasion by a foreign nation, they would go with some sort of celebrity blood sacrifice, including but not limited to Tom Brady, Dwayne Johnson, Taylor Swift, Aaron Rodgers, Dana White, Conor McGregor, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, Patrick Mahomes, or Kim Kardashian. Considering that the election is in Germany, they may stage some sort of race war attack targeting Seal and or his wife, Heidi Klum, or other German celebrities, which may be minority in nature. And in closing, aside from the German election, the impending October surprise is also designed to hijack the Putin-Trump peace talks, which are ongoing in Saudi Arabia, the Hamas-Israeli ceasefire that was the result of also ongoing peace talks that are ongoing in Saudi Arabia. And this is also because South Africa is currently making its case for Israeli genocide at the International Criminal Court at The Hague in the Netherlands. And so this is designed to basically, before there is a final ruling on this genocide that's currently taking place in Gaza, they plan to change the narrative. There's also the possibility that the CIA would stage these attacks because to basically hijack the fact that Elon Musk is doing essentially an audit of the U.S. federal government, and a majority of this money is, or a large percentage of this money is being stolen. And I believe that when it's all said and done, aside from the fact that the Democrats have been caught red-handed with their hand in the cookie jar, if you will, that I believe a lot of this money is going to be found out to be going to Israel, the country of Israel, and that this money is basically being stolen beneath our noses by this apartheid state of Israel. And I believe that's going to come to a screeching halt. And so the CIA is absolutely desperate to stage what I'm calling an October surprise surrounding this German election. So obviously, if any events happen in the next 48 hours, next 72 hours, 48 to 72 hours surrounding this election, it's imperative to note that it's not organic, it's not grassroots, it's not just a random happen chance, it's not a so-called natural disaster. It's planned. It's planned by the CIA, whose headquarters are in Geneva, Switzerland, and is specifically designed to interfere in the election of Germany, just as they've tried to do in the United States in the past elections. And so there's a high possibility that they're going to claim a victory by one or more of the candidates. So we have Olaf Scholz with the SPD, we have Friedrich Merz with the CDU, and then we have Robert Habeck with the Green Party, and then we have, I forget her name, her last name's Wiesel with the AFD. And so what they're likely going to do is they're going to claim that Russia interfered in the election on behalf of the AFD. I believe her name's Angela Wiesel. I need to get it right, so I'm going to Google it here. Alice Wiesel, excuse me, or Weidel. Alice Weidel, Aliceweidel. So what they're likely going to do is they're going to say that Russia interfered. So she might end up winning the election, and then they would claim that Russia interfered on behalf of the AFD party, because they're desperately trying to link Russia to the far-right movement in Germany, just as they tried to fabricate the narrative that Trump in the United States is linked to Russia. So there's a high possibility that the CIA is going to try to link Russia to the AFD party, the Alternative for Germany party, or they may get even so desperate that they would try to link it to a win by the CDU. But regardless, we know that the CIA is going to stage an October surprise surrounding this event, as they always do, to try, and they generally do it right before the election, so that everybody's fearful. And then if they can say that because of the attack, because of the invasion, because of this political assassination, that people didn't turn out to the polls, and therefore X party won. So this is basically what the CIA does surrounding elections in every country, and so it's highly likely that they're going to do it surrounding the 2025 German federal election on February of 23rd. And so there's also the possibility that the CIA would arrest one or more German politicians for alleged links to Russia surrounding this election, specifically to sway it one way or the other. Because as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the SPD party has held power in Germany for over 30 years. So they've basically dictated the direction of Germany, and Germans are sick of it, and so they've stood up and they've decided that they need to change. And their neighbors to the south, which govern them, they plan to stage some heinous event surrounding this election, and obviously that cannot be allowed to happen. So if the CIA does in fact stage any sort of October surprise surrounding this election, I kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, state, and federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, national, and international media outlets.